morning, everyone, and welcome to Buntag Balita, where we delve into the discussion surrounding the implementation of curfew hours in our beloved city. I'm Camila Nes Reyes, your host for today's conversation. Today, we're joined by a panel of experts and community representatives who will share their insights and perspectives on this important topic. But before we dive in, let's take a moment to understand the context behind considering curfew measures and what they aim to achieve. Cebu City, like many urban areas, faces various challenges related to safety and security. In recent times, discussions have been underway regarding the potential implementation of curfew hours as one strategy to address these concerns. But what does this mean for our community? How will it affect our daily lives and the overall well being of our city? To help us navigate through these questions and shed light on various aspects of curfew implementation, let's meet our distinguished panelists. First, we have Mr. John Villarta, a dedicated public servant who has been actively involved in urban planning and development initiatives in Cebu City. As a key representative of the local government, Mr. Villarta has played a pivotal role in shaping policies and strategies to promote sustainable growth and improve the quality of life for residents. Joining us next is Ms. Ayumi Jane L. Abelia, a seasoned law enforcement official with extensive experience in ensuring public safety and security in urban environments. Ms. Abelia brings insights into the enforcement of regulations and the role of law enforcement agencies in promoting sustainable urban development. Our third panelist is Mr. John Rafael Q. Maligon, an esteemed health expert specializing in public health and community well-being. With a background in healthy policy and advocacy, Mr. Maligon offers valuable perspectives on the intersection between urban development and public health outcomes. Next, we have Ms. Ronnie Jessica J. Huiso, a passionate community leader and activist dedicated to promoting social justice and equity in urban development. Through grassroots initiatives and community organizing efforts, Ms. Huiso works to empower marginalized communities and advocate for their rights. Joining us today is Ms. Zyrich Ann A. Hamo, a dynamic youth representative who brings the perspectives and aspirations of young people to the discussion on sustainable urban development. Ms. Hamo advocates for youth engagement in decision-making processes and the creation of inclusive urban spaces. Our sixth panelist is Ms. Laika Ariola, a successful business owner and entrepreneur committed to fostering sustainable economic growth in Cebu City. With first-hand experience in the business sector, Ms. Ariola offers insights into the role of businesses in driving sustainable urban development. Last but not the least, we have Mr. Christian B. Elipe, an accomplished legal expert specializing in urban law and governance. With expertise in constitutional principles and legal frameworks, Mr. Elipe provides valuable insights into the legal aspects of sustainable urban development. Now that we have our panel assembled, let's kick off our discussion by turning to our first topic, the rationale behind considering curfew hours in Cebu City. To provide us with insights into this matter, I'd like to invite Mr. John Villarta to share their perspective.
In recent years, Cebu City has faced challenges related to public safety, particularly during the late hours night. We've seen an increase in reported incidents, especially in densely populated areas like downtown, uptown, Agua, or any clubs in Cebu. The safety and well-being of our residents are paramount, and implementing curfew hours could help address these concerns.
Well, while safety is undoubtedly important, it's crucial to consider the potential impact of curfew measures on our communities, and especially for marginalized groups. So many residents in Cebu City rely on nighttime work opportunities to support their families. So restricting their movement during late hours could exacerbate existing inequalities and hardships.
Thank you both for sharing your perspectives. It's clear that there are differing viewpoints on this issue. Ms. Laika Ariola, as a business owner in Cebu City, how do you anticipate curfew hours might affect local businesses?
Someone who operates a business in downtown Cebu, I've seen firsthand how bustling our city can be late into the night. Many establishments rely on nighttime foot traffic to stay afloat. Implementing curfew hours could significantly impact their revenue and viability, particularly in the hospitality and entertainment sectors.
Valid concerns indeed. Now, Ms. Amy Jane Abella, as a representative of law enforcement, how do you propose balancing the enforcement of curfew measures with respecting individual rights?
Our approach to curfew enforcement will prioritize community engagement and collaboration. We understand the importance of upholding individual rights while ensuring public safety. Specific strategies will include regular patrols in high traffic areas, increased visibility of law enforcement personnel, and educational campaigns to inform residents about curfew regulations and exceptions. Additionally, we will work closely with local businesses and organizations to develop diversionary programs for youth and support systems for individuals impacted by the curfew.
Excuse me, but I must interject here. While I appreciate the law enforcement officials' perspective, I have concerns about the potential discrimination in enforcing law measures, particularly against marginalized communities.
Thank you for raising that point, Ms. Ronnie Jessica Huiza. Let's address your concerns in a moment. First, I'd like to offer Ms. Abelia an opportunity to respond to your concerns before we proceed with your concern.
Certainly. I understand the concerns about discrimination and it's essential to address them head on. Our department is committed to fair and impartial enforcement of curfew regulations. We will implement training programs for officers to recognize and mitigate bias in their interactions with the community.
Thank you to all our panelists for their valuable insights. It's clear that the issue of implementing curfew hours in Cebu City is multifaceted and requires careful consideration of various perspectives. Before we proceed, I'd like to address the points raised by our esteemed panelists. It's crucial that we carefully consider each perspective and ensure that everyone's voice is heard in this discussion.
I agree that safety is paramount, but we must also consider the impact of curfew measures on the social and educational opportunities of young people. Many of us rely on nighttime activities for personal development and socialization.
From a legal standpoint, any curfew measures must adhere to constitutional principles and international human rights standards. We must ensure that individuals' liberties are protected while addressing public safety concerns.
As a health expert, I am concerned about the potential negative impact of curfew hours on mental well-being. Disrupted sleep patterns and increased stress levels could have long-term consequences for the overall health of our community.
While safety is our top priority, we understand the need to balance enforcement with respecting individual rights. Our approach will focus on community engagement and collaboration to ensure fair and equitable enforcement of curfew regulations.
But what about those who are already marginalized in our society? Imposing curfews could further exacerbate existing inequalities and hardships, particularly for vulnerable communities.
I appreciate the opportunity to participate in this discussion. Let's continue to work together to find solutions that balance safety with economic prosperity for all our residents.
Thank you all for sharing your perspectives. It's evident that there are diverse opinions on this issue, which is crucial for a well-rounded discussion. Let's continue exploring potential solutions and work towards a safer and more inclusive Cebu City.
Excuse me? But I must interject here. I believe the concerns of young people are being overlooked in this.
Thank you for raising that point. Let's address this concern respectfully and constructively. Youth representative, how do you propose addressing the concerns of young people in the implementation of curfew measures?
We need to ensure that any curfew measures consider the needs and aspirations of young people. This includes providing alternative activities and support systems to ensure our voices are heard and our rights are respected.
Turning to you, Mr. Elipe, could you elaborate on the constitutional and human rights implications of implementing curfew measures? How can we ensure that individual liberties are protected while addressing public safety concerns?
From a legal standpoint, it's essential to ensure that any curfew measures are proportionate and not overly restrictive. We must also consider alternative approach such as community-based intervention and youth engagement. Programs to address underlying issues contributing to late-night incidents.
Absolutely. So we need to shift the focus from punitive measures to proactive strategies, because that would empower communities and address systematic inequalities. This includes investing in education, job training, and affordable housing to create opportunities for all students or all residents.
Mr. Malikon, you've highlighted concerns about the potential negative impact of curfew hours on mental well-being. How can we mitigate these risks while still prioritizing public safety?
It is vital to take a holistic approach to a public safety that considers the social determinants of health. Investing in mental health services, such as youth development programs and community resources, can help address the root causes of crime and promote long-term well-being.
Before we conclude our discussion, let's take a moment to summarize the key points we've covered today and wrap up our session. We've heard compelling arguments from each of our panelists, highlighting the multifaceted nature of the issues surrounding the implementation of curfew hours in Cebu City. From the perspective of our local government representative, we've learned about the pressing need to address public safety concerns, particularly during late night hours in densely populated areas like downtown Cebu. Our community activist has emphasized the importance of considering the potential impact of curfew measures on marginalized groups and the need for equity and social justice in policy making. As a business owner, we've gained insights into the economic implications of curfew hours and the importance of striking a balance between safety and economic prosperity. Our legal expert has underscored the necessity of ensuring that any curfew measures adhere to constitutional principles and international human rights standards, protecting the rights of all individuals. The health expert has raised concerns about the potential negative impact of curfew measures on mental well-being and stressed the importance of holistic approaches to public safety that address underlying social determinants of health. Our youth representative has highlighted the need to consider the voices and perspectives of young people in the development and implementation of curfew measures, ensuring that their rights and aspirations are respected. And finally, our law enforcement official has outlined strategies for balancing enforcement with respecting individual rights, emphasizing community engagement and collaboration as key components of effective curfew enforcement. As we wrap up our session, I want to express my gratitude to each of our panelists for their thoughtful contributions and insights. It's clear that there are no easy solutions to the complex challenges we face, but by continuing to engage in open dialogue and collaboration, we can work toward solutions that prioritize the safety and well-being of all residents. Before we conclude, I invite each panelist to share any final thoughts or reflections on today's discussion. Let's start with our local government representative.
Thank you, Mom. I would like to reiterate the importance of collaboration and community engagement in addressing the challenges we face Together, we can work towards a safer and more exclusive Cebu City.
Yes, I really urge us all to remain vigilant in advocating for the rights of marginalized communities and ensuring that their voices are heard in policymaking processes.
I appreciate the opportunity to participate in this discussion. Let's continue to work together to find solutions that balance safety with economic prosperity for all our residents.
I echo the sentiments of my fellow panelists. It's essential to uphold the rules of law and protect individuals' rights as we navigate these challenge issues.
I encourage us to prioritize public health and well-being in our decision-making processes. Let us work towards creating environments that promote physical and mental wellness for all residents.
I want to thank everyone for considering the perspective of young people in this discussion. Let's continue to engage youth in meaningful ways as we move forward.
I appreciate the opportunity to share our perspective on curfew enforcement. Let's continue to collaborate with the community to ensure fair and effective implementation of measures that promote safety and security for all.
Thank you to all our panelists for their insightful contributions. It's been a productive discussion, and I look forward to our continued collaboration. With that, I hereby conclude today's Buntag Balita. Until next time, stay safe and take care. Goodbye and thank you.